Hey, what's going on, y'all? So, we're going to be talking about health and wellness of drivers. Last week, I attended the Healthy Trucking Association's Healthy Trucker Summit 2012. It's the fourth year they've had it. It's the first year I attended. They describe it as an annual get-together of trucking industry professionals, trucking industry leaders, fleet management, safety directors, human resources managers, directors, trucking association officers and staff, health and wellness managers and personnel, personnel and benefits directors, and me. I added me. Where they come together to address industry-wide needs to improve health and wellness of professional drivers. And that's many of you, because it is important. And there's a lot of very good, useful information there. And there's some exciting things that's available now. And I'm going to tell y'all about it. And it's not going to make it in this video, but in other videos to come. Let me point out the companies that the Healthy Trucking Association said were leaders in the movement of healthier drivers. This is a notebook that they gave us right here. This is my notes. But the industry leaders in health, according to HTAA, was Boyd Brothers Transportation, Celadon Group, JB Hunt Transport Services, Martin Transport, Prime Inc., Saya, I hope I'm saying it right, Saya Motor Freight, Southeastern Motor Freight Lines, U.S. Express Enterprises Incorporated. Because they did give out healthy trucking awards, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I would like to add that a company can't actually improve the health and wellness of their drivers by simply throwing money into a pot or implementing a program that addresses the health and wellness of a driver. If a company doesn't have policies, standards of operation, or an attitude that also reflects a concern for drivers' well-being. So if you don't care about, basically you need to care about your drivers, and you need to treat your drivers the same way you would want to be treated if you were a driver. If you're not doing that, then no matter what program you put into place or what money you put into any organization that's trying to address the needs, you're not going to have healthy and well drivers, because you can't have a high level of stress and at the same time claim you have or seriously care about health and wellness. It's just reality. A lot of companies need to do more monitoring of how their drivers are being handled so that they can get a handle on this issue. If you're serious about health and wellness, which will increase your bottom line and make your company more solid, you'll end up with a lot more benefits by doing that than you would by ignoring your drivers as a human being and treating them as a robot and only focusing on the bottom line. In doing so, kicking your drivers in the side and stepping on his neck and abusing them just to make that dollar up front increase the profit margin up front, when at the same time on the back end you have high turnover, equipment being torn up, unpredictability on whether the driver is going to show up on time and whatnot, because the driver feels like you don't care. Anyway, this is not supposed to be about all that. I got another video talking about all that. It's called Message to Trucking Companies. If you want to hear what I have to say about how to have better, more solid trucking companies, then watch that video, because a lot of this stuff is discussed. It's really just common sense stuff, but you have to have a certain attitude and care about your drivers in order for it's common sense and second nature and part of your operations. But anyway, where was I at? Having said that, I'm such a professional. Having said that, I would like to mention a few companies that were represented. In addition to some of those that were there, a lot of those got drivers that won awards were from those companies. But here are some people that I spoke to while I was there. RWH had his safety manager there, and I talked to him. What's his name? I gotta go get his name. RWH Trucking out of Oakwood, Georgia, Tim Hutchins. I'll tell you from my conversation with Tim Hutchins, who is the safety director and also in recruiting, which is very important. That guy's attitude, and we seem to be on the same page. He talk a good game because recruiting, that's what they do. But we wasn't talking about. He had no reason to try to put. He didn't know anything about me or whatever. So we was just talking about drivers in general and attitude in general and how to treat people and stuff like that. I can tell you that his attitude was that of a person who was genuinely concerned with having the best people to come into the industry, and then because like I said, he was a recruiter, and then also as a safety director, wanting to achieve good standards, have good standards and wanting to achieve good records, but also being proactive in providing drivers with information and taking into account that nobody is perfect, and that there's certain ways to try to improve on behaviors and habits and learn what's out there and what's available as tools to getting that done. That's why he was at the meeting. Another young lady that I spoke to was from the Human Resources Department of Carol Fulmer out of Florida, and she didn't have a card on her. Had left it in the car. That's what she told me, and I never got a card, so I don't remember her name. But our conversation also seemed to reveal that there was a genuine concern for the health and well-being of the driver, and keep in mind, she was dead. So one of the things that I spoke to her about was the need of recruiters to be forthright and truthful to drivers about what to expect at trucking companies when they join. And she was saying that was not the first time she had heard that. So another thing I want to add, in addition to my first suggestion to trucking companies, is that it does not make sense. You should want to make sure that your recruiters has honesty and integrity, so that a driver who is compatible for what your company has to offer are the ones that will come through your door and be a part of your team. If the recruiter is going to sit there and lie to drivers about what to expect, how their company operates and everything, then all you do is end up with a driver that's on board who was expecting something different, and all of a sudden he got issues. First of all, he's been lied to from the jump. So how much loyalty and respect is he going to have for the company? How concerned is he going to be for his job? So there you go already with animosity between him and the company, or probably him and the dispatcher. Don't let the dispatcher be, just don't let their personalities already be opposite of each other. And then you got that animosity already at the foundation of the relationship. You got issues. All because this guy fed him a bunch of BS just to get him in the door. Why would you want a recruiter or allow a recruiter to remain on board who would bring drivers in to join your team who were incompatible for what your company has to offer? It does not make sense. So you should tell the recruiter what you expect of them, and if you get a certain number of complaints that reveal what you expected from your recruiter did not add up to what you were getting, bye. In the next video, I'm going to tell you about some of the topics that were discussed. Something very, well, this wasn't discussed though. And then I'll tell you about some of the people that I met. Because there's some interesting things. For instance, Bose, the guys behind the speakers, the radios, they have a product for truckers that you will find interesting, no doubt. We'll get to that in a minute. Another video. Thanks for joining.